Introduction: Building the brokerage in the real world. Now that we have established the legal foundation of the brokerage through the designated broker and licensing requirements, the next step is understanding how that brokerage actually operates day to day. This section transitions from legal structure into operational reality, how a brokerage is physically set up, how it is staffed, and how it functions in a real market like Phoenix. This is where compliance meets business strategy. The decisions a broker makes about office location, staffing, and structure directly impact supervision, risk exposure, and scalability. As we move forward in this course, you will see how operational setup ties into supervision, AAC R4 28-1103, record keeping, ARS, paragraph 32-2151.01, and professional conduct, AAC R4 28-1101, home office versus commercial office considerations. A brokerage in Arizona is not required to operate out of a traditional commercial office. Many modern brokerages, especially in markets like Phoenix, Chandler, and Scottsdale, operate from home offices or hybrid models. However, regardless of location, the broker must maintain a place of business that complies with ARS, paragraph 32-2126. The key requirement is that the brokerage must have a definite place of business where records are maintained, and where the public and ADRI can reasonably access brokerage information if needed. This becomes critical during audits or investigations. For example, a broker running a fully virtual brokerage in Gilbert may allow agents to work remotely, but all transaction files must still be properly stored and accessible. If ADRI requests records under ARS, paragraph 32-2151.01, and the broker cannot produce them, the issue is not where the office is. It is the failure to maintain control. This ties directly into future discussions on document retention and audits, where brokers must demonstrate control over their operations regardless of physical location. Brokerage size, agents, associate brokers, and teams brokerages can range from a single broker operation to large-scale firms with hundreds of agents. In the Phoenix metro area, it is common to see brokerages with team structures, where multiple agents operate under a team leader within the brokerage. Each level of growth increases complexity and supervision requirements. Under AAC R4 28-1103, the designated broker must scale their supervision systems to match the size of the brokerage. What works for 5 agents will not work for 500. For example, a brokerage with 10 agents may rely on direct broker oversight, while a brokerage with 600 agents, like many large valley brokerages, must implement layered supervision, including office managers, compliance brokers, and transaction coordinators. However, it is important to understand that delegation does not remove responsibility. The designated broker remains ultimately accountable. This becomes especially relevant when we discuss progressive discipline policies and internal compliance systems later in the course. Employee classification, licensed versus unlicensed. One of the most misunderstood areas of brokerage operations is employee classification. Arizona law distinguishes between licensed individuals, salespersons and brokers, and unlicensed assistants or staff. Licensed individuals must perform activities that require a real estate license, such as negotiating contracts, showing property, or discussing terms. These activities fall under ARS, paragraph 32-2101 definitions of real estate activity. Unlicensed individuals, on the other hand, are limited to administrative support. They can assist with paperwork, scheduling, and communication, but cannot engage in activities that require a license. For example, an unlicensed assistant in a Mesa brokerage can upload documents to SkySlope, coordinate inspections, and communicate logistical details. However, if that assistant begins explaining contract terms or negotiating repairs, they are engaging in unlicensed activity in violation of ARS, paragraph 32-2122. This is a major compliance risk. Brokers must clearly define roles and provide training to ensure that unlicensed staff do not cross into licensed activity. This ties directly into broker supervision and risk management. Real-world Phoenix metro brokerage structures. To fully understand brokerage operations, it is helpful to look at how they function in the real world. The Phoenix metro market provides excellent examples of different brokerage models. A boutique brokerage in Scottsdale may operate with a small number of high-producing agents, focusing on luxury listings and providing hands-on broker involvement in every transaction. A large brokerage in Chandler or Gilbert may operate with hundreds of agents, multiple teams, and a strong emphasis on systems, training, and compliance infrastructure. These brokerages often rely on platforms like SkySlope for transaction management and implement strict policies for document submission and review. Team structures are also common. A team leader may handle lead generation and marketing, while team members focus on showing property and closing transactions. However, all team activity must still flow through the employing broker. A practical example, a team in Tempe advertises under a team name but fails to clearly display the brokerage name. This creates an advertising violation under AAC R4 28502. Even though the team operates independently in practice, legally they are not separate from the brokerage. These real-world examples highlight a key theme: structure does not eliminate responsibility. Whether small or large, virtual or physical, every brokerage must operate within the same legal framework. Bringing it all together. As we connect this section back to Section 1.1, we begin to see the full picture. The designated broker creates the legal foundation, and the operational setup determines how that foundation is applied in daily business. Office structure affects record keeping. Brokerage size affects supervision. Employee classification affects compliance. Every decision made at the operational level either strengthens or weakens the brokerage's ability to function legally and efficiently. In the next section, we will continue building on this by exploring how brokerage policies and procedures formalize these operational decisions and create enforceable standards within the company. Online discussion. What are the risks of operating a fully virtual brokerage without a centralized system for document storage? Answer: the broker may violate ARS, paragraph 32.2151.01 if records are not properly maintained and accessible, leading to disciplinary action during an ADRI audit. Why is it important to clearly distinguish between licensed and unlicensed roles within a brokerage? Answer: because unlicensed individuals cannot perform activities that require a license under ARS, paragraph 32.2122, and failure to enforce this distinction can result in serious violations. How does brokerage size impact the level of supervision required by the designated broker? Answer: larger brokerages require more structured supervision systems, but the designated broker remains ultimately responsible under AAC R4 281103 regardless of delegation.